You just turned 13?
Yes.
Ah, right on schedule. Granny, you were how old?
14, baby.
14. Mommy, you were?
I was 15.
15.
15. Now, I don't remember yours because I was not around.
No, you were not around. You
I
were
was not
traveling.
around.
Yeah. Dad bought me my first set of sanitary pads. I spoke to him first about my period. Interesting times.
Very interesting
Hey?
times.
In her times, that wouldn't be the case?
Nah.
Never. Have you ever liked having your period?
No.
I hate it.
I hate it.
Who loves periods?
I hate everything about
I
it.
hate it.
Lily, are you enjoying yours?
No.
They're weird, hey? Like, this is just generally cool. That we're here with me today in this space, and we're just talking about like our menstrual cycles. That's really, really cool. I think it's pretty dope.
Well, it is,
But,
but
yeah,
it's a subject that is scary,
yeah.
but at the same time, it's a subject that needs to happen.
Also natural to have
Pardon?
a subject that is natural to talk about.
See, this is what I find most interesting because she says, and she's only 13, she literally just turned 13. And she's comfortable and confident to say, well, this is something normal to talk about and it's a subject that we should be talking about. And then with you, as a 60-something-year-old, and I mean generational age gap, you're still a little hesitant around it. Why do you think that is?
I think I would just say it's indoctrination. What was put in our head in our generation. It was more taboo than education.
Naledi's very confident. You're confident, ne?
Yes.
And not just like in general you're confident, but also quite in terms of speaking about your menstrual cycle.
Yes.
You're comfortable to speak about,
100% comfortable.
like super comfortable.
Super comfortable.
And you're still a little bit scared, you're still a little bit uncomfortable, and you make reference to the past and how you were raised. Clearly, it speaks to how you were raised. How were you raised? Nina banikhulise njani ngaleza insuku?
Thina eyethu sasi, it was scaring hours. The time, it was very scaring. Because I went to school. When I came back,
This is your first experience with your menstrual cycle?
Yes.
Yeah.
When I came back, I had terrible pains. I told my granny, I've got terrible pains. And then my granny just went out to the garden and take this, what you call it, umhlonyana,
Yeah.
and mix it with water and said, okay, drink, you'll be fine. I drank it, and then I went to sleep. I wake up, it was maybe 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. I wake up, I said, Gran, when I wake up, I feel that there's something wrong with me.
What did you feel? What was the difference? What was the change? Did you feel like your clothes were sticking on you?
My clothes were sticking on me.
Yeah.
Like I wee myself. And then my granny said, no. I said, Granny, come and see. And then she followed me. When he saw it, no, this is blood. What happened? Granny, I'm asking you, what happened to me? What's wrong? What is this?
So she was asking you what happened?
Yeah, what happened? And then I start crying. You know what she said to my granny?
What did she say?
I told you, my baby, stop sleeping like boys.
What?
Stop sleeping like that, because when
Sleeping like boys or
like
sleeping
boys,
with boys?
like boys.
What does that
because
mean?
Bengithanda ukulala amadolo ngwathi.
Njani, like so?
Yeah,
Like when semang. Like Robert Kamkokotlo.
mangwela aye kodimo.
What kind of sleeping is that?
No,
You
it's
sleep
like-
on your back?
Sleep on your back and then you like,
Or like that?
like
Yeah,
that, you sleep.
yeah.
So she blamed that.
She blamed me. I was crying that time. And then she said, okay, come. Let's go out to her bedroom. And then when I was crying bitterly. And then my grand said, you know what, my baby? What happened to you is because you don't want to listen to me. What have I done, Granny? What have I done? You don't want to listen. Asseblief, my kind. How, Granny? I was crying like a mad child. And then the rod, when you were sleeping like the boys, the rod came
rat.
to you.
The rat.
The rat
Yeah.
came to you and scratched you in your CC there.
Really? I mean, how does that make you feel hearing this? That this is how
Crazy.
your grandmother was spoken to. Like this is your great grandmother. When what's the difference between her experience and your experience?
It just sounds funny.
It's like I'm like
I
hectic.
don't
I'm like
understand. It's different. It's very. I just don't understand.
bizarre, ne?
It's like you said. It's taboo. It's like a myth. It's not believable.
Yes.
How was
no
your
words.
experience with your mom and your sister? Because I know you guys talk quite a lot. So when you started your period, even long before you started your period,
Yes.
had you spoken to your mom about your period? Had you spoken to your sister about your period?
Yes, a lot. KG used to come to my room and she was like, do you want to talk? Do you want to chill? And I used to say yes.
Yeah.
And then she used to tell me about like her time, her first time when she had her first period.
Yeah.
And then she would tell me what it's like, how comforting all the females in the house will be to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't strange. I felt comfort
Yeah.
when she told me about everything. And my mom also, she also gave me the comfort.
Yeah.
She also told me everything that's expected to happen.
What's everything? Let's talk about this everything before I ask you my next question, which is
Yes.
like, can't wait, but what's everything?
Everything is like how your body will change, the pains that you will develop on your period, and you will also grow hairs and just everything that you will experience as you get older.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
How recently did you start your period?
I think it was last year, December.
I was there actually. I
Yes.
remember actually. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
you were there.
I was there. I was in the lounge
Yes.
at Grand's house.
It
I was
was-
watching TV.
Yes.
You literally disappeared and went to the toilet for the
Yes.
longest
I
time.
went to the toilet and I called KG.
Yeah.
Because I told KG, I think I'm on my period.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was like, okay, go to the toilet and check. And then I checked and I was on my period.
Yeah.
And there's not even a lot of blood.
Yeah.
There was just a little bit of blood.
And then there was this excitement.
Yes, it
after
was-
hearing
I was-
we were
Yeah, I
all-
wanted to find out, how
Yes.
did you feel?
I was excited, but I was also it felt a bit weird because it was my first time and I also didn't know what to do. But I knew what to do.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to do it, what's going to happen now.
Did you panic a little bit?
I panicked a little bit, yes.
Yeah.
I was a little bit scared to even go out. I was scared to go out to say, guys, I'm on my period.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was very comforting. You guys were very comforting.
Yeah.
And also, Gangan gave me advice to be careful of the boys. You're a grown woman now. And also, Granny, she told me that I'm a grown woman now. And yeah, you're going to experience a lot. It's just the first step in the first journey to being a woman. And KG also gave me advice on how to put a pad on. If you want to use tampons, I will show you and stuff. And my mom also told me, okay, I gave you advice. Now it's left to your dad to buy you pads and everything.
Yeah.
And she was like, I've done my job. Now it's your time to go tell your dad that you need pads and everything.
How did you feel when she said that?
I felt a bit weird. I was like,
Were you like awkward? I'm gonna speak to a man about
yes,
my period. How's this gonna go
yes.
down?
I got everything. I'm sorted.
I mean, like she's 13. She literally
13.
just turned
Understand.
13.
She knows everything.
Everything. And she knew it before she turned 13. So that means roundabout, how old were you when they started coaching you? Well, not necessarily coaching you, but that would be lack of using a better word. When your sister and your mother started informing you about what's going to happen.
When they started educating me about this,
Like that, educating
yes.
you. Yeah.
I was 11
I mean,
to turn 12.
You see?
how do you think it would have changed you and your experiences if your grandmother had just told you the truth?
You should tell me the truth, Dineo, and tell me the right thing. You know the pads. You remember the
Which ones?
napkins?
All the-
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
the-
The
Abantwana,
old
yeah.
ones.
The
We
towel
were watching
nappies.
the
yeah,
towel
yeah,
towel
yeah,
nappy.
yeah.
Granny took them and cut half and folded the other half, and then I must put it. I must put it for whole day. I'll come and change again when I from school. That is life we were.
So,
Doing
Kankalele
in
Granny,
Eastern Cape.
you're wearing a
This
nappy towel.
a nappy towel.
It's got no absorbent qualities,
No,
nothing.
nothing.
You bleed right through it.
Right through.
Usuhlezi eklasini and then
Mangleze classroom, I must change.
position.
Do like this. Do like this. When I notice the blood is coming, I must do like
No,
this.
that's not cool.
Do like this. Our life.
Have you ever messed on yourself and stained your skirt and then ufuzu fagi on around your
No,
waist?
because I was very careful.
Really? Yeah,
I
yeah.
was not messing myself. On Sunday, kiye kontwena ko boarding school in Alexandra Roman Catholic.
Yeah.
I didn't go. He went outside and called his makoti. Come makoti, uTogo, there's something wrong with Togo. And then makoti came and put the water in the bath, wash me everything. He put me the towel there, and then he told me that okay, what you call the cant, the mat. He put it there, and then you'll
Ucansi.
yeah, ucansi. You'll sit there until your periods are stopped. You don't go outside. You don't cook. You don't drink milk. You don't eat eggs.
And this
Sitting
is
there.
Same story that you know.
Yeah.
Your experience, your first period, how was it?
You all know that I was a runner, an athletic. And then now it was the training session in the afternoon where now I've got to train and for an hour or two,
Yeah.
doing my sprint. Then I'm running, and then I feel like I want to wee. And I said, can I quickly go to the toilet?
Yeah.
Said, okay, go. Then I go in there, and then I sit. Like, normally you go in, you think that you're about to wee.
Yeah.
And then now, no, there's no wee, man. And then I look into my panty. Then it's red. And then what's this? What's happening? And you see, those days, no tissue paper, no nothing. I grab newspaper, squash it, because I've got to go back and run. And I don't know what is this. I squash this newspaper, squash it, and then I just shove it in my panty. Then I went to to run. And the uniform is short, and now the trainer, because I've got to run. Then I didn't see that I bloated myself.
Oh, you messed yourself.
Yeah, I messed myself. And
What
then
kind of
Terrible.
pants were you
It was
wearing? Yeah,
terrible.
that's
Yeah.
terrible.
Our uniform was powder blue. Yeah. And
That's light blue.
Light blue. And then I didn't check the back. I just say, I'm good. Okay, let's run. Choo, 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 choo. Then I had to do my 100 Ks. Then I'm doing, and as I ran, and then now I'm passing the teacher. Then he said, Nongeba, come here. Yes, sir. Can you go home? I said, why? He said, I'm still enjoying that. Just go home.
Shame.
Then I go home. I don't know why am I told to go home. Then I get home, as now there was a culture where we stay in the Nabe family, whereby we go home. At certain times, we all have showers because there was a bath. We all have our bath and what because there was a funny smell, sourish
Yep.
and sourish
Yep.
smell that I was smelling.
Yep.
Then I said, no, I need a bath. Then I go in. As I'm in the bath, then the release of my period was at that moment coming out.
Those
then
are
I
the
see
clots, ne?
the clots. Then I start seeing all these. Now remember, I'm from a situation, from a home where we could not talk, but we had a relationship with my mom. But now because it's in a stressful situation, and then now I've been moved from this house to that house now I'm asking myself, who am I going to tell? And my grandmother is in Makishini somewhere, and my mother in Joburg, and then this new family, I don't know them yet.
Yeah.
And then I said, girl, figure it out.
Did you feel like you were on your own?
I was on my own. Nobody knows my period up to today. Even my mom doesn't know when I started, what I used, everything. Nothing. I was on my own.
When did you learn after all of that and going through all of that on your own? Because you say you were 15, ne?
Yeah, I was 15.
Yeah. From the usage of newspapers to the usage of actual pads, actual sanitary pads, what was
Now-
that time frame?
After the tissue paper, after the the newspaper, then I started using the tissue paper. And then now we are with girls, now we're talking, then they said, no, now I'm using this. And then you remember those pads that were with the
Yeah, I
the
know
long
those,
ones,
I know
and then
those.
you've got,
Yeah.
now I will put them in and then create a pantyhose. Put that pantyhose on that.
So you'd create
hook.
like a pad holder.
Yeah, hook, and then now hook this side, tie that pantyhose. Then I've got something that is stable. And all this, I'm not learning from home. I'm learning, it's a street vibe.
Granny,
My
how do you
friends.
feel hearing about your daughter's first experience of her menstrual cycle and you weren't part of it?
I was not there with her, my darling.
How does that make you feel?
It make me feel so bad, as if I was not looking after her. But she knows.
I mean, emotionally, clearly, you couldn't have allowed yourself to be available for anything else. You were entrapped emotionally in
You see?
a toxic sort of matrimonial environment.
That is
How did
why
you feel? Sorry, go ahead.
That is why I don't blame her, because I was brought up in a nice way with my mom.
Yours was definitely difficult because I was in bed
And your mom, which was
Yeah.
better
than
than mine.
yours, slightly by a notch. Because I mean, not even her athletics coach stopped
Can
her
stop
to
and
say,
give me
"Hey, listen, did you
advice."
see that? You know,
just
you're
said, "Go home."
bleeding," or you just sent her home. So what happened to me was I was in bed. It was in the evening, obviously. The day was normal. I didn't feel any menstrual pain. I didn't know anything about PMS. I mean, we've never really discussed.
No. The PMS and
No,
stuff.
we've never had a full-on conversation about periods. So I come home from school, normal day, like literally everything was normal. My period literally caught me off guard. I went to bed, woke up in the middle of the night. No, even normal morning. Woke up in the morning because I remember that morning quiet in the house. You were traveling, and I don't know what made me look at the sheets, because I never look at the sheets. Because I'm really just generally like, oh, whatevs. And then I got out of bed, I pulled my sheet covers, I saw like blood. I was so chilled. I was like literally lank chilled. I went to the other bedroom, because our bedroom was like literally next to yours and Dad's.
Yes.
I went to the main bedroom, woke my father up, and I said, it's happening. Yeah. And he said, what's happening? I'm like, come see. So I showed him the bed. He saw the blood. And then he said, no, akatanga next ngekundwane. He didn't blame me for anything. He was just like, okay, cool. He actually removed my sheets.
And knowing your father will wash it.
Yes, yeah, he actually washed my sheets. You know Dad very well. I can't remember where he took them. I think he took them to the bathroom or something, and then he said to me that I must just go like freshen up, get changed, and he said roll some tissue because you don't have anything right now.
Yeah.
He said roll a lot of tissue and just like use the tissue for now. I'm gonna go to the shops. I'm gonna get you some pads, and be good to go. He brought back the pads. He didn't talk me through how to use them, your grandfather. He just said, I must read whatever's on the packet.
Directions.
The directions, the instructions of how to use a pad. And for me, that was it. That was it. I never felt any feelings of shame. I never felt Did you ever feel ashamed
No.
when you went back to school after you started your period? Because you started over the weekend.
Yes.
And then on
Yeah,
Monday
my
you
friends are very open about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't feel ashamed because I knew that even if I miss myself, then the teachers will also assist me because they're
Yeah.
very open about periods and sanitary. You should make sure that your sanitaries you don't put in the toilets.
Yeah.
There's already a dustbin for you to put it in. Yeah, they're very strict about the periods and stuff at school. So
And they talk to you guys in front of the boys.
yes, they talk to us in front of the boys.
I think that's good.
Yes.
I think that's good. How do the boys react when your teachers are talking about you guys bleeding
It's just
and
stupid
your pads?
boys that laugh sometimes, and there's boys that keep quiet, you know, just the funny boys that are playing around.
I mean, boys are so silly. Like,
No.
why? What's funny? But that's good. At least they're being educated. We love that. So, of us 4 ladies sitting around here, ooh, I called you a lady.
Lady.
How does that feel?
I feel mature.
Love that.
Love that one
Of
too.
4 ladies, 2 have felt no shame. 2 have felt. Have you felt shame with your period? Have you ever felt ashamed? Did your grandmother make you feel ashamed
Yes.
or embarrassed? Yeah.
Yes, embarrassed.
Embarrassed.
Yeah,
That was your feeling.
that was my feeling.
You felt embarrassed. That's sad. You?
For me, it was not a shame, is that I needed help. Somebody that was close to me needed to help me at that moment, and then I could not help, got that help. I was
Yeah.
chased, go home.
So you were a little bit confused.
Confused.
You didn't know what products to use. You didn't know what is there out there for you. You went for a newspaper, and you
the
had
following day, toilet paper, and the day was just a normal day. Carry on until it was because with my friends, we meet on Sundays.
Yeah.
And then we started talking and wara. Then after talking, and then that's when we went to a shop corner next door.
And to think about it, there's so many products that you can use for your menstrual cycle. And I believe even back then, if you were educated, you would have known of the variety of products.
Well, in
that were
nowadays, it was not a
available.
not a variety. It
Yeah.
was just those pregnancy pads.
Yeah.
That's all that we had in our time. There was nothing like shoes, really. It's just that type of pads. It's just which brand. That's all.
Yeah. You know about your product options.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
Well, KG told me that there's different kinds of pads that's used for different flows. But I do have one Lil-Lets, and yeah, it's in my sanitary bag. And
Do you find what works for you? What do you feel works for you? Which products work for you?
pads, the not so big, but they have to be thin, not the
Okay.
thick ones.
So you're a
'cause
thin pad girl.
yes, yes. I
Yeah.
feel very uncomfortable when I wear thick pads.
I call those cushions.
Yes, cushions.
Yeah, because
yes.
they feel like you're wearing a pillow between your legs.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I use the ones for heavy flow also,
Mm-hmm.
but they're very nice and thin. So I feel comfortable. I can move,
Yeah.
you know, anything. Yes.
Do you know when to follow your flow? Do you know when your flow is heaviest? Do you know when it's lightest?
Yes, because I can
Mm-hmm.
feel it. And I also have an app called Flow. So it helps me throughout.
Girl, you on the
Process.
money.
Yes.
Look at this. It's a different generation
Different
altogether.
generation altogether.
How does that make you feel?
You know, I feel proud. I'm really feeling
Very
proud.
proud.
I don't want to lie
Very
because
proud.
I wanted my mom to be there for me, and I knew my mom was going to do a different job from her generation.
Yeah.
But now he was in a situation whereby I could not be there. That is why I kept it a secret for a long time, because
So eventually you got to knowing what products you can use and
From friends.
then at some point you must have gained some level of confidence. You were no longer embarrassed, you were no longer
No,
confused,
no.
you're no longer ashamed.
Yes.
What works for you?
I used mainly it was
The tampon.
the tampon.
Wow, geez,
And
that's great.
yes. Because now
You
being a
used that.
sporty, I find those very comfortable.
See,
Yes.
and you're also quite sporty, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to connect the dots here, have more conversations with your mom, because you're finding tampons uncomfortable right now. You haven't found your little sweet spot with
Yes,
them.
yes.
But at some point, dancing, being athletic and so forth, and swimming, you might want to kind of have a conversation with your grandmother about, how to get comfortable with tampons. Generally, I'm not going to shove it down your throat because we all have our different preferences, but generally, those would be your go-to if you're an active person.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can see she is active.
My preference,
Very.
yeah, she is.
Very.
It has to be thin,
Okay.
has to be winged.
Okay.
Whether it's for heavy flow or not,
It
has to be thin, has to be winged. I do use tampons. I don't mind them at all. I'm very comfortable with tampons. But between tampons and pads, I feel like I've got more control with, and it's weird because it's psychological. I feel like if the pad is on my panty, I've got control of my flow. I've got control of the situation. And generally, in all honesty, my experiences with tampons have been better because I don't like leak out with tampons. Yours is very interesting because you went from newspapers
Toilet
to
paper.
eventually
to
preferring
Lil-Lets.
tampons.
Tampons, yes.
How is that, Ma? How do you go from a newspaper to a tampon?
Mine
That's
was,
life. And then Granny was a napkin right through.
I didn't want this thing. What must I do with this thing?
Really?
They're going to fall down when I'm walking.
You've never used
I
pads?
keep never.
You've never used
I
pads?
never, my baby.
You've
I
never
was
used
keeping
a
my-
pad? Open a
I
bag
was
of pads?
using my grandmother's towels.
All these years I've known you.
All these years, baby.
You wash towels.
I wash my towels.
Hey!
Shegani.
I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing. I'm just shocked.
I wash my towels, hanging them, dry, put in my suitcase in boarding school.
This is like such, it's blowing my mind because my grandmother, I know her to have been so active when she used to work before she retired, right? She was very active. I can't ever imagine how your great-grandmother just washed towels.
Because I thought at some point after all of that, at some point when they came out, I thought that you also used them.
But you don't understand, Lele, the indoctrination that happened those days.
It sits there,
It
né?
sits there.
Yeah, it
and it
sits there.
stays. It's like a glue in your brain.
But there are myths around PMS and, there's certain insults that are thrown at women where PMS is concerned. Do you know what PMS is?
No.
Ooh. Do we have an opportunity to educate you?
Yes.
Girl. PMS, right, is literally premenstrual syndrome. You familiar with PMS,
yes, I
right?
am.
You can pitch in whenever. Correct me wherever I'm wrong, right? So before you have your period, your body goes through, it's almost like it's warning you that Auntie Red is on her way, right? And she's loaded with her bags. She's coming through. And we all have different experiences with our PMS. I'm not sure if you've noticed now, if maybe say, I'll use as an example with myself, a week before my period starts, or sometimes 14 days before my period starts, I'll either start being very bloated and I pass a lot of wind, so I fart a lot, like a lot, and then I'll crave chocolate.
Okay.
And then when I crave these things, then all of a sudden my mood swings kind of go weird. And then I've also forgotten that maybe I'm PMSing. And then a few days later, boom, Auntie Red's there with her bags on some, you got a visitor.
Yes.
Do you feel that?
Yes, because I think before I had my period, I was craving a lot of things because I was eating a lot. You can even ask KG.
Yeah.
I had like, it was a cake. I was eating a cake and I was having Oros and I made eggs at the same time. And I made bread and I was eating bread and jam at the same time. And I was just eating all these stuff. And I was like, wait, I don't usually do this.
Yeah.
I don't, so let me just finish. And KG was like, what's going on?
And
You
your
don't
mood
usually eat this.
differences?
And my mood, I'm not so sure about my mood. I think I have mood swings somehow,
Yeah.
just some places, yes. But yeah, I've noticed a lot with like craving stuff.
Yeah, and this is before the period.
This is before the period, yes.
Oh, honey, hold my hands. You were experiencing, say it with me, PMS. Say the full words.
Premenstrual syndrome.
And no, you're
Sana.
not crazy. It's absolutely normal. Okay? Oh, yay! If you think about what you know now, what advice would you give your younger self? I'm going to leave you out of this one for a bit because you are still your younger
Yes,
self.
yes.
But what advice would you give your younger self?
I will start from be strong, take control of your body, and make sure that you get, if you can't get it from mommy, the clinic or whatever, sisters or neighbor nurse, you go to her and speak to her.
Yeah.
And then it's going to give you the best advice. And then I will also say the hymen is not the one, the hymen or hymen, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
The one that protects, cover. And then it's not the actual one that will tell you that you are a virgin. There's nothing like that. Tampons will not tear the hymen. And also being sporty and what have you, there are kids that are born without a hymen. But there's, traditionally, that's what we use to gauge a situation whereby you are a virgin. I will let you sleep there and then check with by check and then that is why you remember when I was telling you, you are not going to join that group, your klolo. I'll rather have our own group. We're calling them the spirited young women versus amajiji. So that it was just because ilokuzana COVID, we're going to have a debate between the spirited young women and amajiji. And then basjele logo, nabalaba babajele logo. That's all what I will do to my little self.
Granny, you, because you had a very traumatic one actually. What advice would you have given your little
Yourself.
self, your younger self?
You know what? If I can just have money, my baby, and go back to that devil place, labo bangitreata kabuhlungu khona. Ngihambe ngiyofundisa abantwana bakho. But because even now, they're still using the lapis.
They just don't have enough access to the information that's available to
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Because ezilalini naseGauteng kuhlukile, you know.
Kuhlukile.
Kuhlukile.
Akunamashopa athengisa lama
Yes,
pads enu la.
yes, and also
Bazowathengaphi?
yebo ne-mindset yabantu abadala
Abantu abadala, uyayibona.
ayifani ne-mindset yabantu abadala baseGauteng. So I think it's a matter of having access to information. I'm so thankful. I really enjoyed this. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's just nice to have a whole generation of women, female, telling you their different stories and their different perspectives about like how to manage your periods and everything. It's just nice to have a whole generation, and plus we're a lot of women at home. There's a lot of females at home who can also still give me more advice on how to do this, and I'm also going to pass it on to the next generation.
Of course.
Yeah, Kopano is waiting for you.
Yes.
Kopano's waiting.
Yes.
Kopano's
Kopano's
waiting.
waiting for you.
I think this is a beautiful conversation, and I know that you're my parents, and you know I'm your parent, and you're our child, in this context of family, and you know the generational baton being passed. But I just think it's absolutely fantastic, and I want us wherever we go to spread the gospel to your friends at school. In the neighborhood, you know, in your circle of friends, you know, encourage mothers, encourage fathers, encourage brothers, sisters, uncles to say to their little girls and to say to each other, you know, just educate yourself. There's many platforms like Lil-Lets talk.co.za. There's a lovely community there of like-minded people that are just like us, that have inquiring and inquisitive minds, that also just have so much information to share. And what I love about, you know, our little community with Lil-Lets talk.co.za, which I think you will love, everyone who, for every question that is asked and every question that's answered, there are pads donated to, you know, anyone who needs them and communities that need them. So this was really, really fantastic. Please help me spread the gospel. And whenever you also feel confused on any given Sunday and any given Monday, you've got like literally unlimited Wi-Fi at home. Lil-Lets talk.co.za. Get in there, make new friends on the interweb, and engage, talk, keep yourself educated. Thank you so much. I love you, I love you, I love you.
love you too.
Thank you for coming here to my beautiful television abode, to my beautiful conversational abode. I hope you had a good time.
No, we had a good time. It's educational because this is the future. there's no future like this. It's the one to go to do. And example is our little girl.